Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another shift. Today, I want to talk about something a little different. Usually, I just play the game in front of me, like the FNaF fan games that I normally play, like this one, After Fright. However, today, I want to talk about a FNaF theory that I've been thinking about. And the game will just be background visuals. Now, the conclusion that I have come to isn't too controversial or incorrect, I hope. So, with that said, let's begin our shift. The question that I pose today has to do with the location of Elizabeth Afton during the FNaF 4 cutscenes, and the chronological placement of when William and his wife got divorced. Now, I know that the existence of Mrs. Afton is not confirmed, although it is implied. Therefore, I am going on the assumption that she does, or at least did exist, and that a divorce did occur, but that begs the question of when. The other question, where is Elizabeth during the FNaF 4 cutscenes? The best theories that I've heard about this is that she already got killed by Circus Baby and that her room hasn't been cleared out yet. However, this doesn't make any sense to me. The generally accepted timeline is that the remnant experiments start after the crying child's death. The experiments are what eventually lead to the fun times being made and Circus Baby killing Elizabeth, which means that her death cannot happen before the crying child's death. This then begs the question, where is she? Well, I think I might have an answer. And that answer ties back to the first question. Most theories that I have seen seem to think that the divorce happened between after the crying child's death, saying that William buried himself in his work due to this, causing his wife to leave him. But what if this is incorrect? What if the divorce happened much earlier? Think about it like this. We already know that William wasn't a good person by this point, and maybe that's unfortunate. Think about it like this. We already know that William wasn't a good person by this point, and maybe Mrs. Afton had already divorced him. It's possible that either Mrs. Afton had custody over Elizabeth, or that Elizabeth is visiting her. This would explain where Elizabeth is during the FNaF 4 cutscenes. There is one small issue with this, however. If Mrs. Afton had already divorced William, then who is this in Midnight Motorist? There are two main theories that I have heard about this person's identity. Theory 1 is that this is Michael Afton, and that the crying child who ran off. Sorry, getting a little distracted by Freddy here. And that the child who ran off was the crying child. But this isn't possible, because the crying child is already dead. The second theory I have heard is that the child is Michael and the chairperson is Mrs. Afton. Well, well, I'm screwed. Well, if what I said is true, however, then how can this be? Mrs. Afton? Well, easily. Just because they're divorced doesn't mean that she can't go to that house. It's possible that she is there following her son's death to help with legal difficulties and to help her son Michael recover. There is, however, another option that I have thought about, although I don't think this one is correct. This option is that Elizabeth wasn't born yet and that they were just getting the room ready for their baby girl. This would allow Michael to be the kid when the crying child died, then grow up and work as the Night Guard in FNaF 1 under the alias Mike Schmidt, and let Elizabeth still be the child when Circus Baby kills her. Then, William would dismantle the animatronics and melt them into Remnant to put into the fun times. However, there is just as much evidence against this. If Elizabeth hadn't been born yet, why is there a full bed, not a crib, in the room being prepared? As well as a used, broken toy. So I don't think that this is possible. However, thanks to the second FNaF movie, we don't have to bend over backward to make Michael and Mike be the same person. We can have Elizabeth be alive during the FNaF 4 cutscenes and still be a kid when she dies at the hands of Claw, of Circus Baby, without having to allow time for Michael to grow up in between. This is why I think that the divorce happened before the FNaF 4 cutscenes and that Elizabeth was with her mother during the time. If you enjoyed, please tell me to never play this game again. It is not that great of a game. This is the first time that I've ever tried to post a FNaF theory, so I undoubtedly got many things wrong. Therefore, I would love it if you could put your opinions on this theory down in the comments. Constructive criticism is greatly appreciated, but only if it is constructive. And, as always, I'll see you all on the next shift.